That's nice. That's nice. Oh, how's it going, Bad Idea fans? I'm just sitting here taking in the absolute comic book goodness that is the Hero Trade Collected Edition. The smell of these newsprint pages takes me right back to the mid 1990s when I first got into comics. But enough about this. You didn't come here to discuss the Hero Trade. I'll do that some other time. You came here to find out my thoughts on the relaunch of the greatest comic book publisher in the business right now, Bad Idea Comics. You know, sometimes a comic comes along that doesn't just tell a story, it plants a flag. Planet Death #1, the first release from Bad Idea's new wave of comics, is exactly that kind of book. It's big, it's brutal, and it's beautiful. The kind of debut issue that reminds you of what comics can do when creators are given free reign to do awesome stuff. From the moment you hold it in your hands, you know you're in for something different. And the creative team, it's stacked. Derek Kolstad, the creator of John Wick, teams up with Robert Venditti, one of the best writers in the comic business, and they hand the reins of the visuals to Tomas Giorello, who turns in some of the most jaw-dropping pages of his entire career. Now, at first glance, it might feel familiar. A lone soldier dropped into an unwinnable war on an alien planet, a desperate mission to destroy the weapon and somehow make it home alive. But don't be fooled. This isn't just another sci-fi battle comic. Planet Death #1 is epic. Smarter, sharper, and far more gorgeous than it has any right to be. And it might just be Bad Idea's way of reminding everyone else in comics that they're still here and they're still the best at what they do. And before we even get into the story itself, let me just stop right here and admire this trade dress. This book's aesthetics are incredible. The thick cover, the luxurious interior pages, and the glossy accents on the cover. This is what comics should feel like. Bad Idea has consistently put out prestige format releases, and this is yet another example of them quietly showing the rest of the comics industry how it should be done. And oh wait, one other thing. Nope, not as good as a Hero Trade. Now, the title itself, Planet Death, immediately caught my eye because it shares its name with a classic story arc from Venditti's excellent X-O Manowar run at Valiant Comics. But here, this creative team attempts to deliver something fresh, a harrowing, large-scale sci-fi war epic about a soldier from the depths of space fighting an alien race. It's easy to see the X-O Manowar DNA in here, a lone warrior against those impossible odds. But trust me, this is better than anything Valiant is putting out these days. Honestly, it almost feels like Bad Idea and these creators are playfully saying to Valiant, we're still here and we're still killing it. The story opens on a chilling note. An AI system begins waking soldiers from hypersleep. Days in hypersleep, 1,321. Hyperwar vehicle inactive. Draining regen baths. Beginning conscription. We watch as a red liquid recedes and reveals the nose and face of our protagonist, Corporal Scott. Tomas Giorello's pencils are already operating at an elite level here, showing his mastery of textures, anatomy, and cinematic composition. I've admired his work since X-O Manowar and Monster Kill Squad, but this is him on another level entirely. Corporal Scott then struggles for air and whispers, "I'll be home soon." It's a poignant moment. The yearning to return home is a classic war motif, and seeing it here even in this alien context gives the book an emotional hook that elevates it beyond just spectacle. And then the AI coldly continues. Battalion conscripted, and as the panels widen we see just how many soldiers have been woken for this mission. At this point, Giorello treats us to the first of several breathtaking two-page spreads, showcasing soldiers being lifted to their destination by gigantic machines. This is where you really start to appreciate his sense of scale. Every panel feels like it could hang on a wall. And the attention to detail, the industrial machinery, the metal panels and pipes, the sheer number of soldiers, and the vastness of the housing structure is staggering. And this is just page number 4. Once Corporal Scott's armor is fitted, a mesmerizing sequence of tubing, wires, and spiraling plates clicking into place, the AI repeats its mantra: destroy the weapon, return home. I know it's early in this comic, but at this point it hit me how deliberately restrained this script has been. Kolstad and Venditti wisely let Giorello's art carry the weight of the storytelling, and it works beautifully. Giorello is a master at visual storytelling, and to see his panels and spreads not being overshadowed by multiple text boxes is refreshing to see. Many comics seem to have this problem, but it's not here. You don't feel starved for words by any means either. You feel immersed in the visuals, and that is exactly what I want from my comics. On the dropship, Corporal Scott tries to connect with some of the other soldiers. Name's Scott. I'm Ryan from Nebraska. Nebraska? Can't remember the last time I thought about Nebraska. I can, Ryan answers. The exchange is ambiguous. Are they talking about a place, a memory, a unit? Either way, it humanizes them, just before all hell breaks loose. And then the countdown begins. Mission commences in 3, 2, 1. And Scott whispers to himself, home. And then the real brilliance of the narrative structure becomes apparent. We narratively zoom out. Not just one ship, not just one battalion, but an entire multifaceted army descending in a swarm of dropships. Kolstad, Venditti, and Giorello pull the camera back, widening our perspective page by page, from individual soldier to squad to fleet. That scaffolding of scale is one of the smartest structural choices in this book, and it really helps immerse the reader in the overall grandiose nature of this conflict. As we turn the page, we then get another masterful 2-page spread of a ship from the assault fleet for this army. Just look at this, it's amazing. We also get to see the scale of this ship when compared to the drop ships that are coming out of it and entering the atmosphere of the planet below. Giorello is a master of science fiction illustration, and again, the sense of scale here is breathtaking, and it gets even better later. It's at this point that I realize we haven't even had a logo treatment yet, but the next page gives us one. We get the epic reveal of the Planet Death logo emblazoned on top of an explosion that is yet to be shown. The contrast of the blues of the logo and the warm colors of the explosion is a visual highlight. Even if this is only just showing us the logo treatment, it's awesome. When they breach this planet's atmosphere, the transition in color palette is perfect. The cool tones of space give way to fiery reds and oranges as the heat builds as they penetrate the atmosphere of this alien planet. Atmosphere breached. Ryan starts to crack. No, we're not. We're never going home. But Scott snaps back. I said we're going home. But it's clear neither of them really believes it. Suddenly, green bolts of energy tear through the fleet. Resistance encountered, initiating high altitude eject. Scott's ship explodes around him as he's ejected into freefall, along with a multitude of other soldiers. But soldiers are disintegrating in midair. Shrapnel is tearing through parachutes, namely that of Corporal Scott's. And Giorello makes this sequence visually and narratively interesting, cutting between perspectives, the terrified soldiers, and the cold precision of alien targeting systems locking onto them. When Scott finally crashes into the snowy ground, the AI calmly notes, landing successful. Then Corporal Scott tries to rally Ryan, who lands close to him. Rifle out, time to move. Focus, Ryan. Ryan, look at me. You married? Kids? But it's of no use. Ryan, already mentally broken, just laughs at the overwhelming odds facing them. It's better this way. And he puts a gun to his own head and pulls the trigger. A devastating moment for sure, and it underlines just how hopeless and horrific this mission really is. As Scott stands up, he looks down at Ryan and what's left of his head. Another casualty of this war, a war we still know nothing about at this point. and Scott pays his respects as the ground begins to rumble around him. "Here they come," he yells. He looks over to see the silhouette of a horde of something coming over a hill. Just then, all the other soldiers who made it to the ground rally up and start their offensive. Soldiers are running everywhere. Shots are being fired, but this battalion is being met with more green energy bolts, destroying their armor and their lives. This scene is another standout as we finally get to see these soldiers fighting together. And Giorello's art and the detail on their armor, guns, and faces is amazing. When the enemy finally crests the hill, Giorello again delivers an unforgettable two-page spread. Grotesque alien orcs in ornate medieval-inspired armor. Their weapons are beautifully detailed, their sheer size intimidating, and their presence overwhelming. They're both horrifying and visually stunning. Finally, we get to see the face of the enemy, and boy is it ugly. These alien orcs wearing ornate battle armor would look right at home in a medieval role-playing game, and it's awesome. Again, just look at the level of detail and the complex composition that Giorello has put together here. The orcs' armor is detailed with ornate carvings all over them. Their bladed weapons are similarly crafted and detailed as well. This is a horde that is both grotesque and beautiful at the same time, and it's hard to look away. Tomas Giorello is a master of his talents for sure. Then Scott yells, "There's a whole army, Sarge." And Sarge replies, "Doesn't matter. Kill 'em all." This is pure science fiction meets medieval warfare, and it's everything you want it to be. Brutal, chaotic, and operatic. We see Sarge killed, and Tyler, another soldier, briefly tries to take command before being impaled by an alien who towers over Scott. This page is another amazing composition as the alien stands before Scott with Tyler's impaled body on his spear, brandishing it like a grotesque trophy. It's at this point where we really see how the size of these aliens compare to the soldiers. And no wonder they're wearing the armor that they do, even though it seems about as effective as wearing a bulletproof vest made of cardboard. These aliens tower over these soldiers. The alien then says something in a long forgotten language and essentially taunts Scott with Tyler's lifeless body. The alien is menacing, with a skull of some creature on his shoulder and Tyler's entrails and body hanging off his spear. This scene perfectly showcases Giorello's ability to frame gore cinematically, disturbing and gratuitous, and is just as compelling as anything you'd see on the silver screen. It's comic book goodness at its finest. Scott then fires at the alien to no effect, gets slammed down, and just when it seems over for him, he screams, "Behind you!" A dropship crashes into the ice. Bodies fly everywhere, the ground collapses, and the survivors slide toward an icy abyss. Scott, sliding helplessly, mutters again, "I'll be home soon, babe. I'll be home soon." Then Scott begins to slide forward even further, and the ice tilts even more. Using his grappling hook, he is able to grapple onto the ice further up, but this is of no use either. His grappling hook doesn't hold, and he plummets into the ice below. Scott is then knocked unconscious by the fall, and here we finally see what Scott fights for. Glimpses of his family, playing with his daughter, kissing his wife. For just a moment, he's himself again. However, his suit administers adrenaline directly into his head, waking him up and pulling him from the one place he actually wants to be. "Home," he yells, staggering upright. "I'm going home." But then he stops cold. My God. The final spread is a gut punch. The mission is a massacre. Landing force casualties 99.9%. Mission reorganizing. Objective confirmed. Destroy the weapon. Return home. Giorello's composition here is masterful in expressing the dire situation Corporal Scott has found himself in. The contrast between icy blues and fiery destruction, between the tiny figure of Scott and the colossal alien war machines. You can feel the hopelessness. The alien ships dominate the air and the land. Green bolts of energy fly in all directions, and the warships of Scott's battalion lie burning in their wake. Scott stands on a small protrusion from the ice, witnessing the utter destruction of any and all hope of a successful mission. This scene is also another standout from Giorello that again plays on his skill with expressing scale in his artwork, another masterful epic spread. However, Scott steels himself, thinks of his wife and whispers, "I'm still alive. I'm going to finish the mission, babe. I'll be home soon." Then he charges into the carnage as the AI's mantra echoes yet again, "Destroy the weapon, return home." And we close with a tantalizing tease for issue number 2, Scott facing down a massive alien beast. The next chapter is titled Last Man Standing, and it seems like that's exactly what Scott has become. Whew, that was epic. Planet Death #1 is a visual and narrative spectacle of epic proportions. It's a book that knows exactly what it's doing and executes it with confidence. Giorello's artwork here is breathtaking on every level. His sense of scale, his intricate line work, his ability to convey brutality and beauty all at once. And Kolstad and Venditti keep the script tight and minimal, letting the art carry the story while still delivering gut punch dialogue and a narrative structure that draws you deeper into the chaos. I also like how they've kept the weapon shrouded in mystery. It adds intrigue and gives readers a reason to come back. The emotional through line, Scott's desperate longing for home, grounds all of the action in something human and relatable. By the time you close Planet Death #1, one thing is clear. Bad Idea isn't just back. They're showing everyone else how it's done. This book is a masterclass in scale, mood, and craftsmanship, proving that when you combine restrained, impactful writing with jaw-dropping art, you don't just get a comic, you get an experience. What's most impressive is how the book manages to feel both massive and intimate. A galaxy-spanning war paired with one man's quiet, desperate hope to make it home. And that final promise, destroy the weapon, return home, lingers long after you've turned the last page. If you're not already paying attention to Bad Idea, now's the time to start. If you're already a fan, this book is exactly why. I can't wait to see where Planet Death goes next. But if this first issue is any indication, it's going to be one hell of a ride. And Dinesh, if you're watching this, tell everyone at Bad Idea congrats on a new wave of Bad Idea goodness. Of course, let me know what you guys think in the comments below. And if you enjoyed this in-depth breakdown of Planet Death #1, make sure to like and subscribe to Comic Drops. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you in the next one.